Hello, I'm Dionne. Welcome to my studio, and today we are going to be looking at the artist Frida Kahlo, and we are going to be thinking about how they approached their artwork, which was with a lot of thought. Now, this artist is amazing because she overcame so many things. She spent a lot of her life really quite poorly for various different reasons. But she really soldiered on, and she didn't just soldier on, she completely changed how the artwork thought about female artists, and also how you can go about representing yourself within a portrait. So Frida Kahlo did spend a lot of her life actually in bed, unfortunately. She had various things which meant she was stuck in bed, but she didn't let that stop her. She was able to get an easel that was created that meant that she could lie in bed and still paint. And paint was her way of escaping and transporting herself to another world, but also it was a way for her to explore how she could represent herself, so how she could show herself and challenge how people thought about portraiture in a really, really different way. So how Frida Kahlo created a portrait completely changed how we now think about portraits in painting now. So this example here is a brilliant example. This is a kind of quite a sort of middle-aged Frida, I would say, in this piece, and she uses the portrait with like brutal honesty. So there she is, and she has her eyebrows going all the way across her face, and she shows up all any facial hair, things that actually before there'd be a very polished, finished picture that would be shown in the portrait. Frida liked to show that real honesty of what is real life, and within that she'd give different clues to maybe how she was feeling or what was going on, but also her surroundings. So her paintings really do tell a story. So they say the things that she enjoyed. She loved having lots of plants and nature, and she loved her garden. So quite often in her paintings you can see the different references to the natural world. And then also animals. She loved animals and also had lots of those in her house as well. So often we see these animals appearing within her paintings. So have a really good look at her work. There's so many different things that really celebrate Frida Kahlo's life, from books about her actual life. So what happened in her life, how she really went on that journey from being a little girl that was interested in art to really sort of fighting through all of the things that were maybe being put on her, so particular traditions or things like that, and she kind of weaved her identity through some of those challenges and kept going with her incredible artwork no matter what was thrown at her, whether it was illnesses or whatever it may be. She kept going. She was a very, very strong person. And there's also other wonderful books that kind of retell the story of Frida and maybe what happened to her and her story from her childhood to becoming the amazing artist that she was. So as a person, have a look at her interest in life, and she really is quite inspiring. But then I'd like us to focus in on the kind of thought that she put into her painting, so how they did tell a story. And I'd like you to think of a person whose story you'd like to retell. So it could be you, it could be somebody that you know or you're very close to that you'd like to recreate. And we're going to use our graphite pencils just to do a very, very simple face shape. Now, in Frida Kahlo's paintings, the faces weren't super duper detailed. They were more about the overall look of somebody. So she didn't paint in every single eyelash, and she more did a very simplified view and then picked out the things that were important to maybe exaggerate more. So we're going to take a similar thing. So we're going to need our eyes, but we're going to do this quite quickly, and we're not going to worry too much about it being perfect. So Frida Kahlo's, some of her proportions and things like that, they weren't absolutely perfect, and that was okay because it was about this story, putting that thought into what it was that she was trying to convey. So once you've drawn your face out onto the surface of your paper, so think about the person if they're smiling or if they're sad. So you're going to do a really rough sketch, and we're not going to use rubbers or worry about it being perfect. We're just going to get that face shape drawn out really, really roughly so that you've got it in front of you. Now, once you've drawn everything out, you can then start thinking about adding some colour to it. So we're going to do that in, again, quite simple blocks. You might like to do it with paint, where you fill in with nice blocks. And once you've filled in all of your painting, then start thinking about this story of the background. But I'd like you to do that bit with collage. So start sticking on any clues. So it could be, like with this one, I might like to start thinking about, I love my garden, so I might like to start putting some plants. I've done this one here, this example one, completely in collage. So I've got the face, I've done it in black just so that you can see it nice and clearly. And then I've not worried about painting, I've just done it all in collage. So it's up to you, but I would like you to approach definitely your background in collage. So you might like to paint the face, or you might like to actually build up the skin tone out of collage as well, and the eyes, and really enjoy piecing it together as a collage. So I've added in places that I like to go, colours that I like together. So really use a mixture of paint and collage to start building up your face. So the actual face itself really doesn't matter how detailed it is to begin with, because your collage and your paint will provide the thought and the story behind your piece.